Check 1, 2. Can you hear what I'm saying?
Them songs came from Scotland. They were composed in Scotland.
Hello, this is Ashley McKaiser.
Kevin Hashif.
Hi, how are you today?
In December 1885, the Florida Mortgage and Investment Company of Edinburgh enticed a ship full of Scottish colonists to come and settle in Sarasota. Part of 60,000 acres the company purchased for development. Unfortunately, there were mainly only plan drawings, and few of the buildings the settlers expected upon arrival have been built. And in a rough year trying to settle in by 1886, only 3 families and a few individuals remained, the rest having skedaddled back to Scotland. Then along came John W. Gillespie, who built the DeSoto Hotel, one of the first golf courses in America, and helped establish steamboat connections with Tampa, reviving the colony. Hence Sarasota's Scottish connection. Because of this, when Riverview High School was founded in 1958, the student body selected the mascot Rams, the school colors maroon and white, and the band became the Kilties, with a Scottish military-style uniform featuring the Dress MacDonald tartan. Now, on with the kilts. Kilts are generally made of wool, which comes from the fleece of the sheep. The wool in your kilts comes primarily from New Zealand. Why, no from Scotland, ye ask? Scottish wool tends to be much coarser than imported wool. Ye dinna want to be scratching your nether regions all the time, do ye? After the sheep are sheared, the wool is cleaned and sent to be spun into thread or yarn. Before the Industrial Revolution, they did that with old spinning wheels. Now they use large machines to spin the wool into large bobbins. The bobbins are then shipped to the various mills for dyeing and weaving into various articles of clothing, including kilts. In the olden days, these were done on hand or foot-powered looms. Threads or yarn going lengthwise is the warp, and the transverse threads drawn through the warp is the weft, or woof. Each individual thread of yarn is referred to as a pick. Your new kilts had the wool cloth made at the LochCarron Mill in Selkirk, Scotland. How about a tour, shall we?
Hi, my name's Keith, sales rep for LochCarron Scotland in Selkirk, one of the largest producers of tartan in the world. We range from maybe almost 7,000 tartans in our books, and we currently have probably about 1,500 on the shelves at one time, supplying from individual kilt makers to stores like Scotclans in Edinburgh. A lot of stuff is woven in-house. The wool comes from all over the world, so we deal with fine cashmeres to proper wool, like 16-ounce kilts, 18-ounce kilts. Kilt and fabric are all get done in-house. We currently employ about 90 people. So we do the design, manufacture and sales all from Selkirk here. to 5 pounds, but still pretty wet. So, spin dryer.
What, that takes water?
The spinner on the drying cage, then at the old baker's ovens. Dry the yarn too quickly, you burn the yarn, it loses its strength. So it's still got its strength there. If you burn it, it's no good. It's sitting here for about 5 hours. So 3 hours in the dye pot, get the colour on, 5 hours in here, that's ready to go to the next process, the winding. It's a job ticket for lambswool scarves. This part here is all the main colours, so you've got scarlet, blue, green, yellow, black, bleached white, no scalloped white. And this bit is the pattern and twist. This tells the worker where to put certain coatings to make the colours up. So if you look at your MacDonald dress, you've got like blocks of whites, blues, reds, maybe with four or five threads at a time. So if you look there, along the top here, so we're doing 126 metres. In that there's almost 2,000 threads with 27 picks per inch, so it's 27 threads per inch. Then the loom width will be 150 centimetres or 78 inches. Now the next part, so you got your warp here, and the weft, the same colours match, warp and weft. Okay. Once it comes off the loom, the darners checks every bit of fabric. So they'll go over every piece of fabric, checking it by their hands to make sure there's no threads in the wrong place, any holes, knots, and generally get the once over. On a good day it'll probably take an hour and a half maybe to check a bale 60 metres long. Ideally if there's any flaws they get done here, because once it goes to the next stage of the process in here, it's harder to repair it. So we'll try and get every repair done. It's like magic mending. Once the repair's done, you'll never see it. They'll know, they run their hands over, there's like a knot on the face of the fabric. So they'll take the knot out. This is like it before it's finished, obviously it's a bit coarse.
So the light shines up the knots, anything wrong in fabric.
Or if there's a missing thread, it'd be like a space where the thread's meant to be, so they put in the thread. Ideally, if the thread's out, it's better going that way, shortest distance. So you can imagine if there's like a thread out the whole length of the fabric, it may take maybe 3 or 4 days to put in by hand.
You have to put it in by hand? Yeah. Well, thank you for doing this for us.
Right, all right.
It's all coming all the way to Florida, our kilts.
This one goes off site. It's off site probably about 10 to 14 days. It goes from being quite a close bit of fabric. Interesting.
Very interesting coming out now too.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
It comes from finishing plant into here. It's like for Amanda, we bale it up. Right, I'll bring it up myself and get a cup of coffee and biscuits. Right. Right. This is what we made earlier, huh? Got his sass like.
It's
So
wood.
it's been in the loom. The loom's had a little hiccup, right? And it's no wove right, so that's why it's went through. Been quite a tight bit there, it's been quite open. And it gives a wee bit, we call that a coggle. A coggle. This is the Riverview High School tartan, which is getting woven in LochCarron, probably since August.
How many kilts might you get out of that reel?
Gents kilts, you probably get about 14 to 20, depending on the size. So what I'll do, this is I'll cut that wee bit off, there's a wee hiccup. So there's the start of one of your kilts. Put your hand over, there you go, there. Right. You've got Reaver fabric, you've got Prairie, and you've got the sewn. So your kilts will be the Prairie fabric, which if you Google Prairie, I think it's one of it's in the top 10 highest mountains in Scotland.
So this is where they do the design.
The design, like, everything's done like on a CAD computer, so.
Hello, welcome to Scotclans, come on in. Well, we custom make a lot of things out of tartan, but we also have a kilt makery where we have people coming in and making kilts. Our kilts are all handmade. If I can introduce you to Nikki, this is Nikki.
Hi, I'm
Nikki teaches kilt makers and is employed here at Scotclans, so hopefully she can show you through a bit of kilt making.
Okay, all our kilts are all still traditionally hand sewn. As you can see here, we've got all our kilt makers just working away.
Hello, Scotland!
If you want to come, you can have a wee look at some of the hand stitching. So we've got this Michelle here, she's doing a Sinclair kilt. Everything is from every stage is done by hand. We don't use any machines at all on the kilts. Right. I'm going to go to Selkirk. Right. They're all shaped into the small of the back, so when you get your kilts, these will come into the small of the back, so they won't actually slip down when you're actually marching. Everybody has shaping, even your larger gentlemen, they all have some kind of shaping, so all of our kilts will be shaped into the small of the back. Everyone's been trained exactly the same. I've actually trained every kilt maker here, so all your kilts will be made to the exact same specifications. I've got a lady here who's just setting up a kilt at the moment. This is Julie. So this is just setting up the kilt where we have to repeat the pattern in the pleats, which obviously with the MacDonald is quite a busy tartan, so that'll take a wee bit longer to actually do. But yeah, this is just setting up.
making kilties.